I mean, I'm really impressed with this guy so far.
Well, I'll tell you what, what's amazing to me is that we got someone like him to begin with. I mean, he's almost a 360 difference between Kevin McCarthy.
Yes.
And I mean, Kevin McCarthy, say what you will, he was just a little bit soft on some of the things that we would have a more hardline stance on. But I mean, he's been pro-marriage. I mean, that was where he got his career, even back as late as the late 90s and early 2000s was, defending marriage.
Right. That's right. Well, I'm just reading about this guy. It's like they're calling him, the Democrats are calling him MAGA Mike Johnson. So, usually when the Democrats don't like him, that usually means I'm probably going to. So I start just researching, doing a little looking up on the guy and looking online here, and I'm actually thrilled about what I'm seeing. But for those of you just tuning in, we are the Lawrence County Republican Party, and this show is sponsored by the Lawrence County Republican Party, and we're so thankful that they're willing to do that, put us on the air. We volunteered, come in and give our time so that we can talk about things political here going on in the county and also across the United States. And again, with me is Mr. Orlando Sutton across the table. Have some fun with this. This one's going to stick, Orlando. I'm telling you, we're going to get a new nickname out of this one before it's over with.
Let's go, Brandon. That's all I got to say. Let's go, Brandon. Your parents named you right, didn't they?
They did a great job. God bless them. But again, here we are talking about politics and local things and things that are coming up in the county. Things that are going on in the national news. Of course, is this speaker, Mr. Mike Johnson. And excited about seeing how this is going to turn out. We definitely needed a new speaker in the House. Not going to say this was probably the best timing in the world, but we did need someone to step into that after 3 weeks trying to get a speaker elected.
Well, I'll tell you the other thing too that I had read about him is that he's very involved in his church. He is looked upon as an evangelical Christian. I tell you, he is a very strong conservative Christian from everything that I have seen on him.
That's exactly what I was seeing. I was looking up some of the stuff he's done. He is actually a former attorney and firefighter. And I was trying to see what all he had done here online. Have you seen any of his titles that he's carried in the past? Have you seen some of that?
Well, he has worked very closely with Alliance for Defending Freedom.
Okay.
He's worked with Focus on the Family. He has his whole thing was as an attorney, and when he started in as a politician was to represent churches and pastors and congregants whose vision of religion freedom they felt were being conflicted, and he would go and represent them.
Okay.
So, I mean, like I said, when you're doing work for Alliance Defending Freedom, you're doing work for Focus on the Family. Mm-hmm. That's pretty strong. I mean, he's I don't know how I hate saying this early, but, just looking at his career as a politician, I don't see how we were able to get somebody this strong of a conservative in as a Speaker of the House. I just don't understand it.
I don't either. I'm just telling you, I'm kind of without words.
Yeah.
Because sometimes when they say when they said they're going to replace McCarthy, one of my fears was, oh Lord, we're going to end up with someone worse.
Right.
It goes back to
deal with the devil not the devil you don't know. That's
and shame on me for having that attitude and approach. I appreciate what these folks are doing up there. I probably would not have tried to push to replace the speaker at this time. But when is there ever a good time to do it? And the media outlets absolutely cannot stand the Republicans. They're all Democrats. The mainstream media leans toward the liberal side, so they're always pandering to their speech and whatever they say and whatever their desires are. So we also hear it from a negative slant from them. But honestly, as far as it sits right now, here we are at just a few minutes after 5 on Wednesday afternoon. I am thrilled with what I'm seeing going on in our house.
I am too. And, I'm just sitting here. I'm like you. This is happening in real time.
Yes.
We're talking, this just happened like 2 or 3 hours ago.
Right.
That we had this come out. He is, just reading like climate change, what the left would call, he's a climate change denier.
Yeah.
God forbid you put CO2 in the atmosphere. CO2, doesn't CO2, correct me if I'm wrong, I mean, I fell asleep a lot in science class, math class.
Okay.
English class, accounting class. Okay, anyway, I fell asleep a lot.
Must have stayed up all night long.
No, I don't know. I mean, it's just, but.
With a name like Orlando, that's about what I expect. Go ahead.
Okay. All right, Brandon. You and Joe Biden, you got the same name.
Oh, I gotta have fun with it.
There's a link there. No wonder you get along with liberals so well.
Well, they love me.
Yeah, they do love you, don't they?
But yeah, you're right on the climate change thing.
I mean, CO2. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but doesn't plants need CO2?
It helps.
I mean, with CO2 for plants are more healthy. More healthy plants, more oxygen. Am I missing something here?
No. But this is just a ploy to create another tax because they want to start taxing us on our carbon footprint. And they feel like they can measure it with CO2. So that's just a barometer that they actually use and they're actually the climate change deniers, if you want to know the truth.
That's right.
They want to deny the facts. They're conspiracy theorists is what these people are.
Well, here's the thing. Who are we as man to think that we can control what God created? Number one. But, I want to...
Well, they don't believe in God. They took him out of their platform.
Well, this is true, too. But I go a step further. I think that's the best case scenarios that they want to tax. To me, when you start taking the CO2 and trying to control the CO2 and trying to control carbon, do you realize what animals are made of? What we're made up of?
Sure.
We're made up of carbon.
We're made up of carbon.
And they want to get rid of carbon.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to tell you something. I mean, the conspiracy theory in me,
okay, anytime
I hear this stuff, is they want to get rid of me. They want to get rid of you.
You brought up climate. You brought up. I'm going to take it to environment, and I'll use the same kind of philosophy. This is their philosophy. So they don't want you to use the plastic bags at the grocery store. They don't want you to use it. But yet, if you buy a carton of eggs, it's in plastic. If you buy ketchup, it's in plastic. If you buy mustard, it's in plastic. If you buy bread is in plastic.
What about your meat?
I've never seen a loaf of bread that wasn't in a plastic bag.
Me neither.
So those plastic bags absolutely have no impact on the environment whatsoever. But the ones by the door, the ones closest to the door, those plastic bags are the ones that are detrimental to every waterfowl, fish, anything that moves on the face of the planet. That's a threat to them. So that's just the same reasoning they use. I'm just throwing it out there.
Kind of like with COVID, when people, not me, because as soon as the restaurants would say, "Oh, well, you have to wear a mask before you can sit down at the table to take off your mask,"
right?
I just told them, "No, I'll just go spend my money elsewhere." But it's kind of like then, it's kind of like the same thing. Oh, well, you have to wear a mask to walk 8 or 10 feet.
Sure.
To sit down at the table. But once you get to your table, you're safe from COVID.
That's right.
You got the COVID-free zone at the table.
The party that's made up of scientists does not follow the science. That's all I can say.
You mean like when life begins?
We're on a roll now.
What about, you mean like when life begins at conception?
Well, it's not life if it's in a mother's womb. It's only life if it's bacteria on another planet. They consider that life, but a beating heart in a mother's womb, that's not considered life to them. So that's just their this is their reasoning that they use. And I was actually doing some interviews with David Thomas on Shelbyville Now, and we just got into this just a little bit on an interview that he was doing with me the other day. And we were talking about the Republican Party, and we were talking about the Democrat Party. It's like, what's going on with the Democrat Party? What's going on with the Republican Party? And even what we're seeing going on in the House, this is another little effect of it as well. The greatest contributor to the Republican Party in the state of Tennessee was the Democrat Party, because the Democrat Party drove off the left cliff and kicked off everyone that was already Democrats. They had it. They had the majority. They had it here. And they drove off the left cliff, kicking everyone off that was pro-life, that was pro-traditional marriage. They didn't want them anymore. They grabbed all the extremist groups, the environmentalist groups. They grabbed all those, and they kicked everyone else off. Well, in Tennessee, we had a decision to make, and we couldn't go off the left cliff with them. And, the question even came up during that interview process it was brought up about Bill Clinton, and I think I brought him up, but Bill Clinton, as conservative as he was, he's probably more conservative, or was at that time in the early 90s. He was more conservative than a lot of rhinos that we have in the state of Tennessee right now.
Oh, absolutely. If I remember correctly, didn't they do a marriage act, defending marriage act?
Oh, they've defended marriage, absolutely. They wouldn't do it now, though.
Oh, no.
They redefined marriage is what they did now. So,
well, Clinton kind of redefined marriage, too, a little bit, didn't he?
well, I would do a Clinton impersonation, but Rebecca, my wife, would kill me because she can't stand it when I do the Clinton impersonation. She said, there's one guy I can't stand. She could not stand Bill Clinton.
Didn't like Slick Willie, huh?
No, she didn't like him at all. So she won't let me do the Bill Clinton impersonation very much. So I won't do it for you. But he absolutely did have some personal issues going on there. But as far as what he stood for, though, politically at that time, he was far more to the right than a lot of rhinos that we see that we're dealing with, and some even in the Republican Party right now. He was pro-Second Amendment, he was pro-life, he was pro-traditional marriage. I mean, he checked all the boxes, and he actually worked well with the Republican Party during those years. If you think back, I know I was a kid then, but
I would disagree with the pro-Second Amendment, though.
Well,
because we had the Clinton gun ban.
He did do the gun ban.
2004.
He did do the gun ban, but yet we've seen even Donald Trump, who did a bump stock. He went after bump stock. So
Absolutely.
What I'm trying to say is the parties both have changed so much just in our lifetimes, and I'm talking about the lifetime that we
even
can
our
remember.
voting lifetime.
Yes,
even
that's right.
Last president, if I'm not mistaken,
balanced a budget. Okay. Well, so I'm going somewhere with this. I know we're kind of just like we're just spitballing here because so much is going on in the news feed.
Kind of like what me and you would do if we're together.
Yeah, this is what we talk. If we were just hanging out, let's see. Here's my direction, and I want to give some encouragement to some of my fellow conservatives out there. If you can move a party that far in just a couple of decades, if the conservatives will stand up in this state, we will move the Republican Party to the right. Mm-hmm. We will move it to the right. And you know what we're going to do? We're going to kick the rhinos out.
Right.
And we're going to move it over. And they're either going to have to come across, they're either going to come with us or they're going to be left behind. But I say we pull this party to the right, and it's going to happen. It's doable. And I don't know why people would throw their hands up and give up, because we've seen them change. With the Democrat Party moves with the wind to change, just whatever the news media is saying, they run after it. I'm almost convinced that the media controls the Democrat Party, not the Democrat Party controlling the media. And if we're not careful, the media will control the Republican Party. And that's what they
absolutely.
want. That's their angle.
It's which one is it the dog wagging the tail, or is the tail wagging the dog?
Exactly.
And yeah, I can definitely see that. With that happening in our media. It's kind of like when we think about the media, we think of media giants.
Sure.
The media giants, and it just brings me back to Jesus. When he says in Matthew 24, that as in the days of Noah, so shall it be becoming a son of man. And in Genesis, we know that there were giants in the land.
Sure.
At that point. So I just kind of look at it. And God has a sense of humor.
Yep.
And things, as says in Solomon.
Yep.
Solomon says that everything comes and goes, and everything stays the same.
Yep.
And I don't know. I mean,
the media giants, the corporate giants. You have the social media giants, which is another breed of itself. I think these things have an angle to them, and I do think they want to control the Republican Party, and I think things can be moved, and so that's why I don't feel defeated when it comes to the Republican Party. And we shouldn't be defeated when we look at it, because look, we're going to pull this thing to the right. It needs to move more conservative. The Republican Party as a whole needs to move to the right. But there's a battle. There's a tug of war. We talked about it with Joey Hensley here. He agreed. Even here in the state of Tennessee, there is a war going on to move the Republican Party. Well, we already have the majority. I say to my fellow conservatives, let's go take the majority and let's move this thing to the right, and let's get some things done in the state of Tennessee.
I'm sitting here and I'm reading about Mike Johnson right now, as we're talking.
Yeah.
And I just want to hear the talking points that the media is saying about him, so they can kind of see how skewed they are. So they are calling him a member, even though there is no such membership in the House. But they say he is a member of the Christian right faction.
Really?
Yeah.
Sounds like my kind of guy.
And he supports bills to outlaw abortion, not at conception. You know what they say? Fertilization. So it's not at it, he supports bill outlawing it at fertilization, not at conception.
Wow.
So I just tell you, you look at what they do, and they're going after them. And here's another thing. LGBT rights. Let's go, Brandon Tyler. Why does LGBT keep coming up? He is a strong supporter, obviously, of Christian marriage.
Yes.
And the media has gotten onto him because he views homosexual marriage the same way as bestiality and pedophilia.
Okay.
I mean, I don't see, me personally, anything wrong with that because, frankly, when we had marriage taken away between a husband and a wife in 2012, I said at that point, 11 years ago, that we will be dealing with bestiality and we will be dealing with pedophilia because of this even more. And now we have furries. Now we have children running around in high schools pretending that they're animals.
Exactly.
And pedophilia. Let's talk about California. California has passed a law a couple of years ago, actually.
Oh, sure.
10-year age difference. A 19-year-old has no business being with a 10-year-old.
You got it.
Period. End of story.
But
it's legal in California.
Right. And I want to put something in here, plug this into your topic that you're on right now, and I love talking about this. All of our conservative friends that are listening, and you and I have several conservative friends that listen here in the county and even outside across Tennessee. We've got folks listening all over Tennessee now, and I appreciate them that are out there. A lot of folks can catch it on the podcast later on. Go to the RNC platform. Okay, Republican National Committee platform, online, 67 pages, and go look and see what they define as marriage, and it's traditional marriage. So go check it out and go see what's online. You will find out that they are absolutely, the Republican Party nationally supports traditional marriage between a man and a woman. And so I think that people need to go look at that because I think that gets skewed too quickly. The media has already jumped on that and seemed to taken the argument over and trying to keep it to where now we believe that everybody is for this non-traditional marriage or non-traditional lifestyles that people want to live, and people can live however they want to, but we don't have to give them tax breaks for it, and we definitely don't have to let it come into our school systems.
I want to deal with this real quick because since we're on the subject.
Okay.
We have had we got, I don't know why they listen, but we have liberals that are listening and they hate it. And I've been challenged, and they only do it during the live broadcasts when people see it, and they'll go, "Well, you never show me where people are saying we're here, we're queer, we're coming for your children." Well, Victor, here you go, buddy. I'm gonna play it for you so you can hear it.
Of course, when they were called out on this,
So they were saying we're here, we're queer. And we're coming for you. And not only that, but they were transgendered individuals, which were men that have had breast implants, trying to keep this rated G as much as possible.
Right.
And they were topless at the same time.
Right.
So they're half naked as they're chanting this. It's disgusting. But the Republican National Committee, so all those that are conservative, guess what? We stand against that.
We stand against it, but I'll even take it a step further. So all this was happening. It wasn't just one incident. It was happening in a lot of states during the what was it called? The month. What is the month that they have?
Pride Month.
Pride Month.
Yep.
Pride comes before the fall is what the Bible says. Does it not?
Should have had it in August. It could have happened before the fall of the year. So.
Yeah, exactly. But, here's, again, I hate doing this, but,
I know.
Here we go.
Convert your children. Happens
Here you go, Victor.
Quietly and subtly, and you will barely notice it. You can keep them from disco. Warn about San Francisco. make them tolerant and fair.
And the Democrat Party is the most intolerant party
That's
that there
correct.
is.
That's
They
correct.
do not have any tolerance, as even the statements that are coming over, when we do get liberals to respond to us online and responding live,
Yeah.
they show their intolerance. I don't go on to any type of liberal media and comment. I got better things to do. If you
I
don't
do.
like this show, turn it off.
That's right.
But yeah, moving forward, and let me take it one step forward since we're on the topic. I think they already threw gasoline on my fire right here.
Yeah.
But we have 4 school board seats coming open in Lawrence County.
Right.
And I am aggressively pursuing people to run as Republican. We are looking for folks. We've been talking about this. I had a couple of people tell me at the fair booth that they are going to run as Republican. I got 3 people telling me they're going to run as Republican. I'll put it out there. We're looking for folks that want to run as a conservative and run under the banner of the Republican Party. We want to support you. We want to get to know you. We will give you free radio time. We will bring you in and interview you. We'll give you public speaking lessons. And we're not great at it, but we're not afraid to do it. And we want to help you. We'll make this the easiest election cycle you ever had, because if you put an R beside your name and you get up there, there's not a Democrat in this county that can beat you. Okay.
Well, I even take it a step further, but I just don't want the R by the name. I want them to be conservative. I want them to be Christian. I want them to be constitutionalists.
I agree 100%.
I mean,
But we
so-
want people to come in and give us a chance to have a sit down. Let's talk to them. Well, I want to talk to you. I don't
Yeah,
want to scare people off on
absolutely.
that.
No.
Sometimes people get spooked on that, and they're like, "Oh, I'm not." Look, we want what's good for our children here, because of these types of videos that are being put out there.
That's
of course,
correct.
The deniers, the conspiracy theorists say those videos don't exist. Okay, that's a conspiracy theory.
YouTube hadn't even took
yeah,
it off.
Yeah, just put it up there and check it out. Now, if you put something on there about the jab, they'll pull you.
That's correct. That has already happened to me.
That's already happened. So, it happens.
And I was even talking what the government was saying. I was even going based upon what the government had said.
Sure,
even.
sure.
I'm just reporting exactly what our government had put out.
Right. So I want to challenge people, since this topic kind of come up. I want people to go online. If you're not sure where you stand politically, I want people to go online, and I want them to actually read the Democrat platform, read the Republican platform, and then decide. And if you're a Democrat, I'm okay with that. I'm not mad at you for that. If that's what I'm not going to agree with you, but I am a tolerant enough individual to let you believe however you want to.
Absolutely.
And then debate it at that point.
Absolutely.
No name calling.
Here's the thing. Here's the thing that I want to say. Hate speech. Let me talk a little bit about hate speech. Hate speech is when you tell someone that their sin is okay. That is true hate speech, Brandon. It is not when you agree with sin. And that's one thing that we just can't do. I cannot tell somebody you are living in sin. Just like I couldn't tell a friend of mine if they're committing adultery. I would tell them the same thing. You do not need to do that. The sin is the sin is the sin. And you do not have an adulterer Pride Month, do we not?
No.
Do we have a
don't.
liar Pride Month?
No, we don't.
What about a murderer Pride Month?
Doesn't exist.
But yet we're going to have a homosexual Pride Month.
Yep.
Okay? And, God actually called them sodomites. And there was a reason. And it's a special, here's the thing about it. It's a special sin. Mm-hmm. And I'm going to tell you why the sin is special. Is because Satan is convincing people that it's not sin that they're in. But God actually destroyed cities. What was it? 4 or 5 cities he destroyed. It wasn't just Sodom and Gomorrah.
Right.
Okay? He destroyed these cities with fire and brimstone due to the sodomites that were in the land of Sodom and Gomorrah.
Sure.
And to me, he didn't do that with adulterers.
Right.
Matter of fact, the woman at the well who was an adulterer, what did he tell her? You had 5 husbands. Bring them all to me.
Right.
But go and sin no more.
I know where you're going.
See where I'm going with
Oh, yeah.
this? And I hate saying this because people are going to say, well, you hate the sodomite, you hate the homosexual. No, it has nothing to do with that. It has everything to do with I'm trying to tell you, look, I believe in the Bible. If you don't believe in the Bible, that's your call.
Sure.
Okay, I get it. And you should have that right to not believe.
You do.
But guess what? I should have the right to believe, and I should have the right to express those opinions,
Sure.
the same as you have the right
Sure.
to express your opinions.
And the Democrat Party removed God from their platform a few years ago. They done it now. You can look it up. You can look at it on video. And so they removed God off their platform, and that's okay if that's what they want to do. I believe, and I'll say it again, that the Democrat Party has created more Republicans in Tennessee than the Republican Party has done. People didn't move to the Republican Party because of something great the Republican Party did. I'm just
No,
telling you.
no.
The Republican Party, that's why I'm involved, is because I feel like they really need to stand and deliver on some things that need to be done. I'll go so far as to say this with all the folks, maybe there's, if liberals or Democrats are listening, I'll go so far as to say this. Anything that goes wrong in the state of Tennessee is the Republicans' fault.
Absolutely, because we're the
It's their fault.
supermajority.
I hold them accountable. Okay?
I absolutely
if
do
we
too.
if we fail, if we drop the ball somewhere, we have to stand up and say, you know what, we did it. It's our fault. We need to do better. We got to make some changes, and that's why I'm involved. If I thought they were doing great, quite honestly, I'd probably be sitting at home on the back deck watching the fish jump in the lake. But I'm not interested in doing that tonight because I want to get out here and make a difference in what's happening in our state and in our country.
We have to, and I tell you another thing too, and this is one thing that's important, at least to me. If somebody tells you who they are or what they are or what they're going to do,
Yep.
you need to believe them.
That's right.
I mean,
right.
you absolutely need to believe that.
Right.
And I mean, if I tell you something, Brandon, have I ever told you something and I not done it?
No.
Same with you.
Yep.
And that's the way I look at it. I take a man for his word until he proves to me differently.
Sure.
So if somebody tells me that they're going to do something, you know what? I tend to believe it.
Yep.
Because that's how I am. So if you're doing something and you're saying that, oh, well, this is only a joke, or people are joking about these things, no, they're not joking. And I've had people, and I've read different comments over the little bit, not on our show necessarily, but when I played that last song, you know, on YouTube they try to say, oh, these people, they're trying to, they're making fun. They're only joking. I'm going to tell you something. As hard as it is to watch the video, the eyes don't lie. Mm-hmm. And you can see the evil in those eyes. And the question I always have, Brandon, is this. It doesn't, why are people wanting to be, and I'm going out there, they want to get, they're drag queens, and they're going to want to go and read books to children. And people say, well, what's wrong with that? I want to turn that question around is what is wrong with a grown man wearing a dress wanting to read to children to begin with?
And as our representatives have said here in this room, when they did the research on it, they would wear a dress up, and drive 100 miles one way to do story hour with children using a stage name, no background check.
Right.
We would not allow this in any format anywhere else. Okay, this is unacceptable, and we're not going to take it in Tennessee, and that's why we're out here pursuing conservative things on our school board, and we're not going to stop. We will publicly stand up against these things. We will call it out, and it is up to us as citizens. I want our children to have a good education. I want us to have what we need in this county, and I want the best school systems possibly we can have. And I've already heard today, I've got rumors today that they are absolutely seriously looking at a voucher program in the state of Tennessee coming up in this next legislative session. So folks have asked me, and I'll put it out here on the radio live. And matter of fact, if you're listening online, go ahead and hit that like button, because you know you like it. You wouldn't be listening if you didn't. You don't eat chocolate ice cream every day if you don't like it. If you're listening, you like it one way or another. So even if we're getting your blood pressure up, go ahead and hit the like button. We'll be okay with it, and eventually you will learn to like it. But when I'm looking at these things and looking at everything that's coming down the line with our school boards and things that are going on, I want us to get in front of these events. I want us to get in front of this. We're not going to have it in Lawrence County. We want what's good for this county, and one of the things is going to be the voucher system. And I did hear a rumor today. Someone actually called me today saying this is something that's actually being talked about. And I'm going to tell you, it's coming from high up where I'm hearing it, Lawrence, and I'm getting excited about it. So let me say this to our friends. We've talked about going back to the state capitol next year, after the first of the year. Mm-hmm. They've asked me, I even had people today, what's your date? What are you thinking about? Well, I'm going to tell you, if this legislation comes up for school voucher, that's going to be my day, folks.
Right.
I want to go that day. And you might say, why? Because the public school system needs some competition. We need the option as parents that if you do promote that garbage in the school classrooms, let's promote learning, let's promote English, arithmetic, science, let's promote these things, even the arts. I'm okay with that. History, let's learn that.
Absolutely.
Okay? But I will not support any of this garbage, and we can have options to where you got a voucher system to where if this starts happening in your school system, you can pull your child out of there and you can put them into a private school system where you don't have to subject your children to that. And it will stop this. It will stop it in the school systems immediately when you give parents a choice.
That's right. That's right. I mean, I'm going to tell you something. You're preaching to the choir on this one, Brandon.
And if the voucher system wasn't a problem, if they didn't think that people would vacate the school systems, they'd do it. Because they know the schools are failing, number one, and because the way they deliver indoctrination to our children in these school systems, they're scared to death of the voucher program. But I got a wake-up call for everyone listening. We are here, and we're not going anywhere, and we're going to protect the children. And we have the majority in the state of Tennessee. And radio shows just like this one, we're joining together. We were going to get on with Shelbyville Now live on their podcast tonight, but we're joining these together. Gary Humble, we join in with Dave Vance. We've joined in with several other groups across out there on these podcasts. And the state of Tennessee sees the problem, and we are going to address it. And I'm thankful for all those that are getting involved. I feel like I'm just a little speck just on the huge snowball that's actually building in the state of Tennessee right now.
Well, you know what? Here's the thing, though, is that in order to, like you said, move that needle, everybody has to be involved. The more people that are involved, the better off we are.
Amen.
And the other thing, too, that we've got to do is we got to stop fighting over the little things.
Right.
Because the big things are coming.
They are.
And I don't think people realize that. You know, these are things that we've been working with and talking about because we tend to believe the Bible.
We do.
And we also tend to believe, and it's kind of like, lack of a better expression, we can read the tea leaves.
Well, things are changing, and it's not changing for the better.
No.
And, I have several liberal friends that I know, and even they don't think it's changing for the better. I don't see people saying it's changing for the better. And just remove the political side out of it.
Right.
Were you better off 10 years ago, 5 years ago? Where were you better off? How do things look now? The outlook financially for this country looks fairly bleak right now. Mm-hmm. How are we going to pull out of this nosedive? Inflation's going just crazy. We're talking about doing some events on, it was brought up at the Republican Party meeting last night, the rates of things going up on the county. And we're going to be talking about these issues as we go into the month of November.
Right.
But the rates are going up on everything. And I don't see quality of life going up.
No, the quality of life's not going up. And you know what else isn't going up? Neither are the wages. I was looking at even adjusted for inflation. Mm-hmm. Okay, the wages for people in 2000 and the wages for people in 2020
sure
was only like $400
right.
difference.
It hasn't moved up with inflation enough.
No,
it's lagging way behind.
Way behind.
Yes,
because our inflation is rampant. Is off the chart. I mean, things that I was buying and paying, let's say, $2 for are
right.
now $4.
Right.
I mean, it's not just gone up 10 or 20%. It's doubled.
That's right.
In the last 3 years.
And excuse me. And you and I do a lot of nonprofit work with other organizations in the county, and we've seen how those rates for food and things that we've just trying to purchase for doing. Let's see, what have we done? Fish fries. We do. Fundraiser breakfast, we do things like that where we're trying to raise funds, and we see our cost increasing so much it's hard to keep up with it. So we're doing giveaways and trying to get donations and trying to get people involved, and it's hard to get donations right now because I think people are in a tight spot. I think people some people are in what you might call a pickle financially right now.
Oh, yeah.
And I think in the next election, Joe Biden's going to own this thing. Joe Biden is going to own this in the shape of this economy. Even the Democrats, I don't hear any Democrats bragging about how awesome Joe Biden is. Please tell me how awesome he is, because I have not seen it. I mean, and I would even give you the benefit of the doubt. If he had done something good, I would love to be able to say Joe Biden's done something great. I cannot find it.
You know what? I will say this. I will say this, and it has shocked me.
He does get up quick when he falls down. Go ahead.
So far, it looks like that he is standing for Israel,
Okay.
which has shocked me. I tell you what else has shocked me. Mainstream media has even defended Israel.
For the time being.
For the time being. But I'm saying I saw an article with CNN, okay, the Communist News Network, and
Okay.
this shocked me. CNN was talking about a hospital that had been bombed, and they had blamed Israel for bombing this hospital. CNN retracted it and said that they have found out that it wasn't Israel that bombed it, but it was in fact Hamas that had bombed it, either by accident, not knowing how to shoot their missiles, or they did it on purpose in order to get sympathy.
Sure.
So those things kind of shock me, seeing that. And I've heard a lot of people talk about this over the last couple of weeks, with Israel. We have to stand with Israel, and I'm going to tell you why we have to stand with Israel. It's just because of what God says.
Sure.
God told Abraham that I will bless those that bless you, and I will curse those that curse you. And I'm going to tell you something. I think that even as bad off as America is right now, it could be a lot worse. And I think it's because God has not took off the hand of protection from America yet because of us blessing Israel.
We are blessed. This nation is blessed, no doubt about it.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, I was talking with a very liberal coworker today, and even they said, this is the best place to live on the face of this planet.
So if it's the best place to live, why do they keep wanting to change it? Why do they want this change? Do they not understand? Do they not read history? See, I'm a history guy.
Sure.
Okay? And I know what happens to socialists once the socialists come in and they bring the communists in power. Do you know what happens to the socialists?
What's that?
They're killed.
Right.
The communists come in and kill the socialists because they actually look upon them as being the enemy of their own state.
Right.
And they cannot be trusted. Matter of fact, they will kill the socialists before they'll kill people like me or you.
Right.
I mean, that's what they've done throughout history, especially when they get the guns taken. Over 200 million people were murdered when they took guns, and I've touched on this briefly, but the fact remains is that we have a border that people can come in.
Right.
And they're pouring through. We have no idea really what's coming through this border. Our border is not secure by any means at all. And the only way people have the way of defending themselves is because of the Second Amendment. And you are not going to try to even take away even a little bit of that away. If you think that you need safety that bad to give up your freedom, you deserve neither.
Well, see, liberals want to take and turn things upside down. Okay, this is the way they think. On Second Amendment issue, having debates, and sometimes you get mad at me, Lawrence, because I sit down and I'll debate with these people because I really want to hear how they think. Their opinion and their voice matters to me. I'm going to tell you that. Number one, because I believe they've been lied to. That's the number one reason why I'm willing to sit down and do it. They've been convinced to believe a lie. Okay,
Right.
And so even this week, having a conversation with a liberal that I know very well, talking about Second Amendment, talking about firearms and things like that. Well, their issue was a firearm being stolen out of a vehicle, then used for a crime. So we're talking about this topic. Now, they believe that if a firearm is stolen from someone, that owner of that firearm, to whom it belonged and then was stolen, should be held accountable either in civil or criminal court, if not both.
So what about the criminal that stole it?
It's already against the law to do that in their minds. But here's where they don't have the stomach. This is where they can't stomach it. If you want to stop something, what you do is you increase the penalty. And they won't do that. If you keep increasing the penalty, you will stop those things.
They don't want to stop it. I mean, if they wanted to stop it, Brandon, seriously, I mean, why would Nashville, Davidson County, refuse to have SRO officers in their schools? Do they think that the SRO officers are going to go around shooting up kids, or do you think that's the first line of defense?
Well,
if
let me finish the thought on this, and then I'll touch on that one.
Okay.
So I want to end this discussion with this person, and I have much respect for a very intelligent person. We're not talking about someone who's foolish. We're talking about very smart. I said, how do you stop guns from being stolen from vehicles? Well, if you put a life sentence on that, you will stop that. You will definitely decrease the amount of firearms stolen out of vehicles if you put a life prison sentence. But they don't have the stomach to put that life prison sentence on that if someone steals a firearm. And their point was, I said, what about if they steal a car? What if they steal something else? They steal a knife. Well, they say the firearm was intended for only one purpose, and that's to kill. So that, to me, I said in response, then that means you ought to have a much stiffer penalty for stealing something if you know it only has one intended purpose. Then I think you should be tried for attempted murder if you steal a firearm.
Right.
And if you do that, you will stop the firearms from being stolen. But then it goes into name calling at that point because they don't want to agree with that. Okay, so let me go into the school issue. So I say, we talked about school issue because school shootings is a terrible thing. I don't know anyone who wants a school shooting. Okay,
Absolutely.
we all want to stop school shootings. Let's get back to that point first.
Right.
Okay, number one, we're not going to get rid of the Second Amendment because we're going to hold on to it. It's not going anywhere. They might as well get over it. We have to create laws that protect our freedoms, that don't eliminate our freedoms.
That's correct.
So we have to stiffen the penalties around that, but not to penalize those who enjoy those freedoms. So in talking about schools, I said, hey, you know that you want to keep school shootings from happening. Well, we're going to have to figure out how to arm either SROs or teachers. Their immediate response is, and it was sarcastic, oh, so your answer is just more guns. Well, I said, here's the thing. Why do we not have police stations shot up? I have never heard of, it probably has happened at some point in time. Someone maybe needed some serious medication, walked into a police station and started shooting.
That's called suicide by police.
That's suicide by police, absolutely, because they're going to die there, okay? Also, you don't see people go into courtrooms, which has criminals daily. They daily convict, they daily put people in handcuffs and lead them to prison. They daily deal with every type of crime on the face of the planet, and every county is dealing with murder. Every county deals with rape. Every county deals with theft and armed robbery. Every county deals with this. But yet you don't see people going into the courthouse and taking out their acts of aggression there. Why not? Because it's secure zone.
And people are armed.
Well, let me ask this question to the Democrats. Why don't you complain about the guns at the courthouse? Why are you not fussing about the guns at the airport that keeps us safe at the airports? Our airports seem to be pretty safe. Why are Democrats not raising all kinds of fuss about this? Because the same children that go to those schools go through those halls just as well, and they have no complaint with it. I have to ask this question, so I want to put them on defense. Why are you not upset to the point when I say let's arm SRO officers at school? Why do you not get upset about the armed officers at the courthouse?
Right.
And they cannot, the end of the conversation is right there. Then it goes into name calling at that point. Right. So I don't want to do name calling. I want to do problem solving. Well, and so let's find a solution to the problem.
I even take it a step further even on that one. Have you ever seen a mass shooting at a gun store or at a gun show?
No, and you're not going to. Okay, they look for soft targets. This is what they look for, and we have to put protection in place.
Our
right.
Schools.
We're not going to get rid. Listen, you can ban guns. Who was it? The Prime Minister of Japan, who had banned firearms, was shot and killed by a man that made a homemade firearm.
So let me take this even. Okay, I'm going to go a step further on this, and I've talked about this before.
Yeah.
Israel's the most secure border.
Yep.
In the world. They're also.
Well, that's what we thought. It's been proven to be different, in my opinion.
Well, you know what? Either it was done by purpose or accident. I don't know, but it was the most secure. And Israel also has one of the strictest gun laws in the world, and people don't realize that. How did Hamas get all their weapons How do they get them into Israel when you have the most secure border and you're not supposed to have guns in Israel? But yet these people, I mean, they're walking around with AK-47s, fully auto AK-47s at that, and they're now walking around, which I've never seen before until this attack, M4s.
Well, we all know where they come from.
It's come from Afghanistan.
Sure.
And other
which rest squarely upon Joe Biden's shoulders.
That's correct.
He was advised by the top, argue it all you want, go look it up. If you don't want to look at the truth, don't look at the truth. Go to MSNBC, they're fair and balanced news.
Right.
They're garbage. Everything on there slanted toward the conservative party. So don't stay away from those. Those of you out there that are maybe thinking about or doing research, I don't care if you're a Republican or Democrat, I don't care. Stay away from the news media that's always slanted one direction. And I try to balance myself out. I look at CNN as much as I look at Fox News, and I'm going to tell you why. I want to know what they're saying. I want to know what their topics are.
Well, I just got through saying something good about Joe Biden, what he has done. I would challenge somebody to find something good that CNN or MSNBC says about Trump.
No, you won't find it. It's not out there. So yeah, on all these different topics and talking about the difference between Democrat and Republican, the divide between Democrat and Republican is becoming larger and larger.
That's correct.
Somebody said something the other day. Well, I vote for Democrats and Republicans. Number one, I don't believe you because their platform is totally 180 degrees opposite. They're not even similar at all. I've read both, and so I challenge those of you out there to go do some research for yourself. But yes, and again, I want to ask people, hey, go ahead and click on that like button. Take this radio program, take the podcast, and forward it to your favorite Democrat or your favorite liberal. They'll thank you for it later because we're bringing truth. We're bringing light to it. We're going to give them some argument. And if they'll listen
Liberals
to us,
cannot handle the truth.
It tears them up to come in to listen to our points and what we're talking about. So, but those of you that are listening, hey, we want to give you some good argument points for the water cooler at work. Hopefully, when you listen to us, you can think back on what we're talking about here on this radio program and say, hey, you know what? I heard something great yesterday. Here's a good argument for Second Amendment. Here's a good argument for traditional marriage. Here's a good argument for that. And I want to say this to you, those of you that are listening, start talking up school vouchers, okay? Start talking it up, and it needs to look like the health savings account to where that money goes into account, and then you can use it for your children's education. And I promise you, it strikes fear into the heart of every liberal, okay? Because you know why? We are smart when it comes to our kids, and we know the best option, and we're going to take the best option. And people are like, well, you're going to shut down public schools. No, we're not. They'll still get $2,000, even if you pull your child out of there. Still get $2,000, and the child's not even there. So they actually get a raise for less children. But what it does is it creates a option for parents to go to something better. And if you truly care, I don't care, Republican, Democrat, I don't care if you're a teacher, if you've never been a teacher, I don't care if you can't read and write, I don't care. If you truly care for what's good for the kids in this country, then you will want to give parents a choice and an option to go to whatever's better, because in some counties, the county schools are better than other counties.
Right.
And I mean, that's just the way it is. It's just reality.
I think our county has some of the best schools.
We have
going.
a great school system here.
Yeah.
But not everyone has the same options we do in the state of Tennessee.
That's correct.
They just don't have it. Give it back to the parents. Let them make some good decisions. So we're going to be pushing this one. So those of you out there that are planning on going, I love it.
You know, competition is what's made this country great. Mm-hmm. And I'm tired of participation trophies. You know, you ask my kids, you know, they'll tell you I'm not for participation trophies, and you know, I even make you know, funny comments. You know, if they come in second place, I go, oh yeah, second place, that's first place loser.
Yeah.
You know, I don't want my kids, or any kids for that matter, not just mine, but anybody's children, to think that it's okay to be second best and not try to go and be the best that you can be.
Absolutely.
And that's what I want for any child out there, is to get the best available education.
Sure.
That they can get without them being spoon-fed this garbage that they're doing. Why can't we just do the 3 R's that everybody likes to say?
If you put the voucher system in place, you will see school systems improve. You will not see. We have friends talking about conservatives all over the state of Tennessee talking about the book issue, and they're trying to put different types of books in there. That's just some of it's just plain pornography.
It is.
And people will fight for that book to be in a school system. Well, guess what? We don't put every kind of book in school systems. Those will call you fascist and everything else. We don't put pornography in the school libraries. Those magazines are not in there.
That's right.
It's not there. You wouldn't even expect it to be there. You'd be disgusted to see it there, but yet you want to put it on the same shelf. Let me say this to every conservative: listen, you put school vouchers out there and it will eliminate the problem. The schools will go pull it off the shelves themselves. The schools, you want to eliminate this problem, you will see them go in and stop indoctrinating our kids. You will see it come off the shelves immediately. There's no need for a rainbow flag in a classroom. It's not the place for it. The American flag should be there because that's what's financing it.
Absolutely.
The Tennessee flag should be there because that's what's paying for it. It's our taxpayer money that's there, not anything that's putting anything political or anything indoctrination. The indoctrination will stop if you put the vouchers on these school systems. Let's go make it happen. If you want to fight back, this is how we do it. And we're going to push for it this next coming session. So get ready. Buckle up. This is going to be fun.
That's funny. I'm sitting here laughing too, because we've been told that when me and you get into it and we really start laughing, that's our war cry.
Is that what people say?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
That's our war cry.
We got the war paint on today.
Yeah.
But here's the thing. A lot of people talk about what makes them angry or what gets them fired up. I get excited about it because I see some good things coming, and I see some good people standing up that weren't standing up 5 years ago, that weren't standing up 3 years ago. Look at this guy who just got elected, this representative who just was elected. What's his name again? Johnson. I don't even know his name, but I'm just looking. He just got involved in politics in 2015, was
That's right.
elected at the state level in 2015. This man has just got started in politics, really. He's climbed as fast as the election process would allow him to do.
8 years later, he is now Speaker of the House.
Wow. Look, so imagine, folks, if we jump in right now where we could be in 8 years from right now. Imagine what we could change. Imagine where you could be. Those of you that are thinking about running for office, don't hold back. You've never had an opportunity like this before in Lawrence County. We need you. We need you to come forward. We need you to stand up for our kids. We need you to stand up for your county and your freedoms. I want to say thank you to the Lawrence County Republican Party for letting us put this show on. I mean, it's been awesome. WDXE, freedom of speech at WDXE is outrageous. It is out of control here. We get to actually come in and speak the truth. Support this radio station. Support your local radio station here. Get on Facebook, get on YouTube, hit that like button, subscribe to it. You're going to want more of it because we're just getting started, folks.
Oh, yeah. Oh, absolutely. We're just now getting started. And I tell you the other thing, too, that I would encourage everybody to do is come join us. Come join us at the Republican Party. $5.
Yep.
Is the best deal in the state.
Yep.
To be a member of the Republican Party for $5. And we'll at least try to entertain you.
That's exactly right.
I mean, if anything, you can come and look at us and point and laugh.
That's it. We laugh at each other all the time.
I know. It's kind of funny. I had somebody come up to me at our meeting yesterday,
Yeah.
and they were, they were kind of joking, but they were like, you sounded bigger on the radio station. You sounded taller, is what they said. Bigger, yeah. I mean,
they were talking about me, not you.
No, they were talking about me. I mean,
I'm not a very tall guy, but I sound tall, so I need to stay on the radio. That's my best place to be. Take us out of here, Lawrence. I appreciate you.
God bless
Broadcast Services,
the United States. God bless Tennessee, and God bless Lawrence County.
This